Hello, you're watching New Vision TV News. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's coming up in our bulletin. Minister Kamya was not attacked in London. Mbale musician has been nailed in the mouth. Now, Tanzanian authorities have rescued a giant python. Traditional beliefs, rituals fuel tensions over Mugabe's funeral. And in our special report today, New Vision TV takes you through the life of a man, an icon, who faced arrogant imperialists, white supremacists, and segregationists. This and more in our bulletin. Hello there once again. Thank you for joining us. You're watching New Vision TV News. Around Uganda, the Minister for Kampala, Betty Olive Kamya, was not assaulted as alleged by some sections of the media. The Office of the Vice President has clarified. Kamya was part of a Ugandan delegation led by Vice President Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi to the recent Uganda-UK convention in London. The meeting brings together Ugandans working and living in the UK and Europe. Local media reported that Kamya was forced to cut short her trip after allegedly being attacked. Now, the 2019 annual Celebrity Mass has been held at Rubaga Cathedral in Uganda's capital, Kampala. The Mass, themed God is Good All the Time, started later than the earlier scheduled time of midday. At about 1 p.m. local time, Chad and the East Member of Parliament, Robert Chagulanyi, who is also a musician, better known by his stage name Bobby Wine, appeared. He was accompanied by his wife, Bobby. An entourage of border riders escorted the celebrity couple to the decades-old grand church that sits on one of Kampala's hills. Kawempe Division Mayor Emmanuel Serunjoji and Mityana Municipality MP Francis Zake were among the politicians that showed up for the Mass.
Okusinkana olwaleero ne tusinza eno mundaba yange ye Celebrity Mass eyokusatu oba ye misa ey'aba celebrity eyokusatu.
Bazanyo service olwaleero era nga mukulu wange oba muto wange Bobi Wine bwagambye president wa 2021 bwagambye nti twaze kwebaza Katonda nakwekkirizamu nakwongera kusaba Katonda atukulembere mu bidyo n'ebintu tugenda okwasaganya mu bbanga eritali bamvu nyerijja. So nange nebaza nnyo abantu bonna nebaza church namwe abatwaniriza nabaza okusaba naffe neba celebrity nya tubakakase kyatambulyamu straight.
Sawa zino ndiwo ga omujulirwa okulaga anti amanyi ga Katonda gakyaliyo nti ebikola ebyamagero Katonda tabiragira mu yike nyiniro kiraba nti ekyamagero kati kikyo kiri mu bbanga nti ekyamagero ebyamagero biyitira mu ffe bantu Katonda byakola biyitira mu ffe bantu nze okubaawo nga ndi mulamu President waffe Honorable Kyagulanyi Bobi Wine okubaawo nga mulamu kitegeeza omanyi ga Katonda ekyo kyamagero nambemu kati ffe bye tukola byonna Katonda gwe twesiga era yatulwanira entalo zaffe tetulina gwe tugenda kulwana naye tetulina muntu gwe tugenda kubanga tukuba Katonda yagenda okubanga batulagirako kuba buli kye tukola kirimu omukono gwa Katonda.
The Minister for the Presidency, Esther Mbayo, has asked RDCs not to get involved in local politics and concentrate on monitoring government projects. Opening the RDCs workshop, Minister Mbayo explained the RDCs should shun politics and follow up on government projects. She also cautioned them against infighting, saying it hinders their performance. The two-day workshop draws RDCs from Teso and Karamoja sub-regions to Akelo Hotel in Soroti, where they are taken through capacity building lessons. Reports coming in say the express highway is set to be officially launched for public use in January next year. Now, according to Patrick Muleme, head of design at the moment, they are still looking for the operator to run the road, and once opened, all users will have to pay a fee to the government so it can pay back the loan.
Once we select our operator and we commence the operations on the expressway by January 2020, the issues of insecurity will be history. The operator will be required and will be responsible for patrolling the expressway. They will install lighting across the entire expressway. They will patrol the expressway. They will attend to all incidents, accidents, and the maintaining of the road. So in other words, the users who use the road and pay for using that road will also get the service, which includes a nice road, safe road, and also free of insecurity.
While releasing the annual report for the financial year 2019-2020, the Executive Director, UNRA, Alan Kajina, noted that they have asked for a supplementary budget of 400 million Uganda shillings to buy land for construction of more roads.
The financing for the road development program remains constrained, and therefore UNRA is unable to commence the procurement and implementation of projects to cope with the demand. The road maintenance budget remains lower than required, which makes providing the anticipated level of service and response to emergency situations very difficult.
Police in Mbale is hunting for 3 unidentified people who waylaid Isaac Katogo in Nkome suburbs in Mbale municipality and nailed him in the mouth for allegedly composing a President Yoweri Museveni song. According to Elgon Region Police spokesperson Robert Tukey, Katogo, 36, is a resident of Kiteso suburb in Northern Division Mbale municipality. Tukey said Katogo was nailed with 2 6-inch nails on the left cheek at around 3 p.m. on his way home, adding that Katogo is both a local musician and a herbalist who also moves around busy centers, entertaining his customers with his composed songs that praise President Museveni and National Resistance Movement Party. Good Samaritans heard him screaming and came to his rescue, found 2 6-inch nails stuck in his cheek, and they took him to Nkoma police station. This is not the first time a musician has been attacked for composing songs about President Museveni. The youth in Kamuli, Jinja, Iganga and Luka districts have faulted local governments for excluding them from participating in the planning and budgeting process, saying that it denies them opportunities to access reasonable funds for empowerment. During a one-day engagement with CSOs, local leaders, technical staff and the youth said although they have structures from village levels, there's still a missing gap between the local Council 3 and the local Council 5 leadership, the technical staff and the designers of the budget. Joseph Kalebi, a community researcher and resident of Iganga, said that annual planning and the budgeting process at district level incorporates touch points where community members, including young people, need to be involved. However, they are not aware there's space to include them. Closing off news around Uganda, the death toll in the accident at Kitantalo village, Namutumba district, along the Namutumba-Mbale highway has now reached 6. The latest victim, a woman, has been identified as Sherry Akurut, a resident of Nakaloke Town Council, Mbale district. The deceased passed on after admission at Iganga Main Hospital. 5 others on spot were killed when the taxi they were moving in overturned several times after one of its front tires burst. The 5 have not yet been identified because they lacked identification documents. 12 others were admitted at Iganga Main Hospital with broken legs, multiple fractures on their bodies. We now take a look at the news around the East African region. In Tanzania, authorities have rescued a giant python from a forest after it was mobbed by pilgrims who believed it had supernatural powers. Several Tanzanians were flocking to Kasala Forest in the northwest of the country when the snake, estimated to be 10 feet long, was spotted 2 weeks ago. They gave it offerings of live animals in the belief that if it ate them, it would deliver their wishes. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism later intervened after an alarm of a high number of people trekking to see the snake. It has organized for the python to be moved to a neighboring game reserve to ensure its safety. President Salva Kiir and the Eritrean Special Envoy to South Sudan, Osman Salah, held a meeting in the capital, Juba, on matters of bettering bilateral relations. Speaking to reporters after the meeting, South Sudan's Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Deng Dao Deng said Osman handed over to the South Sudanese leader a letter from his counterpart, Isaias Afwerki. The Eritrean official also appreciated the role Kiir played in ending the political crisis in neighboring Sudan. We now take a look at the news around the world. In Zimbabwe, as public wakes for the former President Robert Mugabe have drawn to a close, traditional chiefs are demanding the body be buried according to spiritual traditions. Those requests have been part of a dispute over the final burial of Mugabe, who died on September 6th, almost 2 years after a coup ended his increasingly autocratic 37-year rule. He died during a medical trip to Singapore, aged 95, leaving Zimbabweans torn over the legacy of a man whose some still laud for his role as a colonial-era liberation hero. Mugabe's burial has already been caught up in a dispute between his family, who wanted to bury him at his rural homestead Zvimba, and the government, which pushed for the body to rest at a national monument in the capital. They finally agreed Mugabe would be buried at the National Heroes Eka Monument in about 30 days, once a mausoleum was built for him. Protesters massed in the Algerian capital to demand the cancellation of a controversial presidential election planned for December the 12th. Interim leader Abdelkader Ben Salah announced the poll on Monday in a bid to resolve the political deadlock gripping the country since the April resignation of longtime President Abdelaziz Bouteflika. But activists have demanded political reforms and the removal of Bouteflika loyalists, including the powerful army chief Ahmed Gaid Salah, before any vote takes place. Now, official results in the presidential election were expected Tuesday to confirm a duel in the second round between law professor Kais Saied and imprisoned media mogul Nabil Karoui in Tunisia. With almost 90% of ballots counted, Saied was set to advance the next round with 18.8% of the vote ahead of Karoui, who had 15.7% according to the Electoral Commission. Depending on if any appeals are launched, the second round could be organized for October 6th, the same day as legislative elections, or on October 13th. From Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his main challenger Benny Gantz were deadlocked today after an Israeli general election, reports said, raising the possibility of a unity government or even the end of the premier's long rule. Various Israeli media reported that Netanyahu's right-wing Likud and Gantz blue and white had 32 seats, each of parliament's 120, with more than 90% of the vote counted. The reports were citing sources with the elections committee, as that level of results had not been officially posted yet. Let's take a quick break and return with news in business.